Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. Yeah.
Herb, how goes it? How goes it? How goes it?
Is that the old school flow?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I feel like we're like what is it? Carlos Miller and what's the name from
DC Young Fly?
No, the when Carlos always gets into it with old ball headed dude.
Chico Bean.
Yeah, they always do the old school stuff.
I don't watch Wild 'N Out as much as you do.
First off,
what?
I don't watch Wild 'N Out very much.
How often do you watch Wild 'N Out? Like
zero now. Zero now. Like I have not seen any of the new stuff. So what Rod is referring to is when you turn on your Samsung TV, it turns on like the Samsung TV channels.
Yep.
And I don't know how it sets itself or whatever, because we went through a time of let's make a deal. So every time we turn on our TV, let's make a deal was on. And then you're like, I'm too lazy to change. We'll just watch this for a minute. Right. Then we went through a whole period of time. What Roger's referring to is every time we turned on our TV, Wild 'N Out was on TV. And I started getting into it and recording
Herb would
stuff.
watch the same Wild 'N Outs over and over and over. He'd be like, oh man, wait for this part. I can't wait for this part. I can't wait for I'm like, okay, you've seen it like a million times, right? Right, yeah. Herb?
Yes.
Okay. Let's
look, so people with high anxiety do that a lot. That's why. Sorry, we got the text message. Hey, switch our spots. So we didn't want people to think you were Herb and I was Rod. So thank you for
no problem. Herb, let's get back on point here. I think we went off on a tangent a while now. How are you doing on this beautiful Tuesday evening, Herb?
I don't know.
Why?
Because of last Saturday and next Saturday, I honestly don't know.
All right, we'll get into that in a second. We're just doing it. So right now, Herb's doing okay. I'm doing okay. Of course, the full Lady Alpha Pool. Excuse me, Lady Alpha Pool. The full Alpha Pool is here. Good evening, ladies. Thank you for joining us as always, live and direct. We appreciate y'all. So looks like we're coming off another interesting week of football, depending on how you look at it. Excuse me. Before we jump into that, just in case y'all didn't notice, our intro is new. Thanks to Big Mike. Shout out to Big Mike. He tweaked it a little bit and edited it. It looks really, really good. It's awesome. Shout out to Big Mike again. We appreciate you, bro. Hope all is well. We're coming off an interesting weekend of football. This was a huge slate of games. Just to give a little, not an intro, a little backstory about how my Saturday went. So I missed some games or some portions of some games, with the exception of the Alabama game. Went out with the family to the pumpkin patch Saturday morning.
Be glad you did.
That was like 10 a.m. But I watched the entire game while I was with the kids and everything on my phone. So I didn't miss the Alabama game. But pretty much of the games after that, I missed portions of it. Because after we got back home, then we had to go to a wedding. My Saturday was kind of busy. Herb, how was your Saturday just checking in for the games? Were you prepared for the games? Were you
Big Mike and I went to the game. Okay. So that was it, walked around for a little bit. Seemed like the atmosphere was good. I give the crowd credit. And I know most people say 11 a.m. is not that early. We know for us SEC crowds, 11 a.m. is early. Okay. So the crowd was good. They were into it. We were doing our best. Sat in a spot where it started off in shade, so you felt nice. And then like second quarter, the heat started to take over a little bit. But like I said, the crowd seemed like pumped. The atmosphere seemed great. Started off okay on the field. Well, I don't know how much. Anyway, always hanging out with Big Mike is always a good time, Raj.
Yeah,
so
of course.
We enjoyed the game as much as we could.
Gotcha. Yeah, Mike's even chiming in. He died a few times. I'm pretty sure it was hot out there. Glad y'all were able to go, though. Obviously, that was a pretty dope experience. Shout out to Big Randy. Shout out to Randy. I'm sorry about that. Yes, Pumpkin Patch was fun. And Randy, I see your other comment. We'll get into that in a little bit. So I guess let's jump into it, man. Let's jump into the South Carolina game.
I'm trying to get you a video, but I'm listening to you. Okay. There's something I forgot to load up that I want to show you, but go ahead.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's jump into the South Carolina game. Instead of me starting out, I'll let you start off. What was your impressions of? I guess let's just go through your impressions and your emotions of the first half. How was things going into halftime?
Well, we got up 14-0, and we never looked good doing it. So I felt okay at that point, to be honest. I was like, all right, this isn't going great. You hate to just. It felt like the team was going through the motions, almost like we went up 14-0 by accident. And it's like you hesitate to not give credit to South Carolina. You know what I mean? Because they have a much better than anticipated defense. They've got a couple stars on there that are going to, probably make the NFL. It's like you don't want to take away from them, but it didn't feel like the intensity was there on our side or the consistency. And then it's like, what was it, like 4th and 9 or whatever? We give up a touchdown pass. And then, we've got a safety mixed in there and maybe one of the worst interceptions. Like it looked like we were back again in the Texas game from last year. It's like you threw an interception so bad that the defender never moved and your receiver was racing to try to get over to break up the pass.
Are you referring to the interception that was thrown prior to halftime? Like there was
correct.
Yes. And what bothered me about that was the fact that we threw the ball anyway. Had we monitored the clock, that could have been an easy situation where Milroe just runs the ball. Even if you don't get the first down, you could punt it, and then obviously they can't move the ball. They won't have enough time to move the ball and get a field goal. But since we threw an interception, that gave them at least 2 downs, and they kicked the field goal, which just kind of killed everything. Kind of killed the momentum for us. But yeah, I pretty much shared your same feelings going into it. 14-0, I was happy. We came out, punched them in the mouth, played some good defense early on. Excuse me. But after that, things just seemed like they just got weird, got choppy. It seems like the South Carolina offense wasn't really doing too much to throw us off, but we just didn't really make the necessary adjustments.
No.
And again, I'm not a big X's and O's type of guy, so there's other people that can kind of clear that information up. But we were just letting them have their way with us, and it just seemed kind of unfortunate, and it brought back memories of the previous week when we played Vandy, and we're just like, okay, what's going on here? We can't. I don't want us to lose 2 games in a row. Obviously, that'll hurt us to go down the road as far as playoffs is coming and everything there is concerned. But yeah, going into halftime, I was just unsure. I just didn't know what was going on. I believe they got the ball after half. I just didn't know how this was going to
And Mike's giving you kind of a little play-by-play, Raj, in there too, like with Kat saying. You mind if I put up a couple real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you saw, with Kat with like the yes. Yeah. And this was Mike talking about that. But this one specifically, Mike's like, why they call timeout? And I was like, to make us snap the ball again and see if we'll do something stupid. And he was like, okay. Yep. So that. So and here's your obligatory Texas guy. He's gonna come in, he's gonna give you the horns up, he's gonna say something negative about Alabama. And then he's going to leave.
Garrick, while you're here, obviously we know the big game this Saturday. Give us your score for this Saturday, Texas UGA. We want to know what your score prediction is. You can't just leave. You can't just throw up the signal and then leave. You got to say something.
Or tune in and to what Raj also kind of alluded to earlier. We've got a special going on with Randy.
Yes.
Thursday night.
9
p.m. Central Time, 10
time.
p.m. Eastern. So Randy's staying up for us. So we're going to. He's not like Bama.
No, Randy.
You always say something bad. You always take a little dig at Bama, and then you leave. Yeah, you always get 2 comments from you.
Randy, Garrick, you can't leave. We need a Texas Georgia prediction from Garrick before we can proceed. Come on, guys. Go again to Herb's point. We're having another Thursday night-ish podcast with Randy. We'll talk about the Texas Georgia game this Saturday. Looking forward to it. The last one we did was phenomenal. Looking forward to it. Was. Oh, so Garrett's saying one possession Texas win. Okay, that's better. Thank you. We appreciate you, Garrett.
Yep.
Randy's got a good question here. So here's the question. The opening script seems to be on lock for KDB, but after that, not so much. Herb, what do you think about this? Are we talking about every game or just like what is he?
No, it's a good question. It's something I hadn't honestly thought about. Although I'll be honest, in this game, nothing. See, like I honestly feel like we went up 14-0 by accident. Nothing seemed like good in this game. Vandy neither. So I don't know. The last 2 games really honestly show that the other teams are coming out a little more intense we are, because the opening game against Vandy was terrible. The pass that got intercepted for a touchdown was, kind of a fluky bounce up in their play, but that play didn't look good. It didn't look like it was going anywhere. And then, against South Carolina, I just don't remember anything like great. I remember us just sitting there kind of imploring the team to get up. I can't. I see why you'd ask that question, but I can't go with it because nothing looks like it's been good early on.
Yeah. I think the last 2 games have been completely different than the first 4 games. First 4 games, it seemed like the offense, I guess maybe minus the exception of the South Florida game, the first 3 quarters, but other games it seemed like there was a good mix of run and pass. We were nice play calling. Things looked much more smoother on the field. But these past 2 games, it just seems like, to Herb's point, we just don't come out there looking like we were ready to play. It's just like we're here, but when's the game over? So it's just it's hard. Maybe I don't know if I'm describing that well, but just the intensity is just not there.
It is. Yep. And Raj, I think Mike would agree with you too. Sorry, I know I just jumped across. I think Mike would agree with you too. You could feel that when we were there. That there was no intensity from the players. And it was like. It was just weird because, usually you'll say, oh, is the crowd getting? No, the crowd was in it. I don't know how it translates on TV, but as far as what we saw, the crowd was in it, Yeah. So I can't really say.
On TV, like I said, it just looked like offensively, it looked like we were there for the first quarter. And then after that, we just kind of disappeared. We just kind of took a back seat to that. So I guess that leads up to halftime. So second half, I guess coming out second half, what are your thoughts? What are we hoping for? What are we looking forward to in the second half?
I mean, they take the lead. The third quarter was basically forgettable. You go into the third. I can't remember a good thing that we did for the whole third quarter. They take the lead, and it's like, is this really how the season's going to go? Obviously, this early on, losing 2 games. I mean, I picked us to lose 2, but I didn't think we'd lose 2 before having, still having like Tennessee and LSU on the table. Yeah. So that's weird. So
I think a lot of people are at that point. I thought the same thing. Third quarter, I was under the impression like, okay, we'll have a really, really good second half. We'll prevent them from scoring much more, maybe a field goal or touchdown, but that's about it. They seem to do a little damage. And it seemed like somewhere midway through the fourth quarter is when we actually decided that we didn't want to be bullied anymore.
Basically.
And we said, okay, let's stop this from happening. And we showed some resiliency. We were able to fight off the comeback. I'm sorry. And I'll give
we didn't fight. We did not. We did not fight off the comeback. Yeah. No, I'm just saying we didn't fight off the comeback. Yeah. I'm saying we didn't fight off the comeback though.
Well, their comeback wasn't complete.
Yeah.
So we didn't lay down at the end. We won the game. I don't know. It was a sloppy game. It was a sloppy win, but more or less it was a win at the end of the day. And the reason I say that is because I think the day, and this is just my opinion, I want to get your take on it, Herb, and anybody else in the comments, Big Mike especially. I think the days of us just beating everybody 52-14, 52-21, 52-7, depending on how Vegas wants it to lay out, or Vegas the spread or whatever, I just don't know if that's going to happen all the time nowadays. I think this is a first-year head coach. We're still working. Obviously, we're working out some kinks in the offense and the defense. Definitely. We have a lot to work on. Right. And I think that Bama Nation just needs to prepare for what's about to come. Both Herb and I predicted, we would go 10-2, make the playoffs. Obviously, that's still well within grasp, and it could definitely happen. I don't know. It's just the criticism that we're receiving, and the coaches, not us, but the coaches are receiving, is just like
Randy's just picking us apart over here. Dang, Randy, okay, Randy.
Oh, Randy will be fine. Randy will be fine. And we'll get to all Randy's comments. I think he's got a little free time on his hands, obviously. So,
Randy, take it.
I don't know. Though I just think the days of just mollywopping everybody might have come to an end for right now, just for a short period of time until we get through the season and see where things go. What do you think about that? Especially all the criticism that's coming the coach's way.
Well, so as far as the criticism, Kane Womack is like definitely on the hot seat. The problem is at times the like the defense is running down all higgledy-piggledy back there, and like nobody kind of knows what's going on, and it's like, we don't seem focused. But no, the Mike one is where I was going to go with this.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of games like this in the past couple years under Saban, and it's like everyone totally forgot that the last 2 or 3 years there were struggles.
Yes.
And like last year, there was plenty of games like this. And it's
the
like Caleb DeBoer comes in and everyone forgot.
Was the Arkansas game. I think we won that was like 26-23, 26-20. We played horrible that game. We played absolutely horrible that game, but we still won. The Texas A&M game. We won that game, but we didn't play that great. Obviously, we know what happened the Texas game at home. There were a couple games throughout there just scattered throughout the season, and we looked pretty bad. Obviously, another one Big Mike's talked about, 4th and 31. Coming into that game, I don't even remember what the point spread is. I'm sure someone will check on that for us. But we were supposed to kill Auburn, but look what happened.
Right.
I mean, it's been like that. We can go go back to your point. We can go years back. We can go every single year and look at some games where we just play some really, really close games, and this is just part of it. And I think we just need to get used to it. It's going to happen. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying every single game for the rest of the season is going to be 26-24, a close game. I think that we will improve as the weeks are to come, but right now we just need to take 1 week at a time.
Yeah. And I think this is it. That's what I think, Randy. I think everyone's jumped the gun as far as the coach, and they're like, oh, why aren't we just whooping these, because of what Vegas has put as a spread? But it's not.
Yep.
The field is a way more level than it has ever been. And let's be honest, one reason why, Saban kind of left, he's like, look, I'm tired of dealing with what's going on here. But it's just frustrating. Yeah, am I frustrated by the product on the field? Yeah, but have you ever seen a fan base as upset being 5-1? You know how many teams in the country would trade with you to be 5-1? Randy and I had a conversation about Vandy. If Vandy does not blow the Missouri game and inexplicably lose to Georgia State, you're talking you're talking a whole new ball game as far as respect for them. But because they see Vandy, it's like, okay, forget it. You know what I mean? So that's what I don't like about it. And there was something else. Oh, and Mike had put this, Roger, and this is something I forgot. I hate to jump.
Hold on, Charmaine, we're coming. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you got it. I'm gonna give it right back to you. I forgot about this. Mike turned to me by the time their first possession was over 8 minutes in the third quarter when they scored. And Mike turns to me and he goes, how are we just not having the ball? Yeah. And he's like, is the clock wrong? And I literally, I had to go and look on my phone because it's different when you're kind of watching it there and you're not paying attention to other stuff. I look on my phone. I'm like, their drive was like 8 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah. That's where the whole third quarter went, by the time we even got a possession. So it was crazy. So go ahead. My bad.
No, this is another. I'm glad Charmaine brought this up. Gap is closed. This is another thing that kind of frustrates me as well. Yes. I think after the first 4 games, especially after the Georgia game, Milroe was up there with Heisman contention, and people were talking about how great he was as a quarterback, and not just his legs, but passing the ball too. He's putting up really, really good numbers. But these past 2 weeks, I honestly can't tell you what happened. He's thrown some really, really bad picks. He's made some bad decision making. Gave up another safety, I think, this past Saturday, right? Gave up another safety. And that safety that he threw is just kind of like, if you're getting ready to go to the NFL next year, you can't make plays like that. Scouts are going to look at stuff and say, like, why are you doing that? If you're going to have the ball and hold the ball, and this is something Herb and I have talked about forever, past maybe 1 or 2 years. If you're going to hold the ball for that long, just throw it away. Get out of the pocket, throw it away. Yeah. That's fine. But Milroe seems to feel like, no, I'm going to hold it. And then what he does is as he's backing up, he starts looking down. And I'm like, okay, so you're not going to pass it. You don't really have room to run, so we're just going to take a 10 to 12-yard sack. I just don't.
No, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. Yeah. So,
I don't know. It's frustrating to watch, but obviously we have a big one coming up this Saturday, and I think prior to this season, we looked at this game like this is going to be a tough game, but now it's like I feel like both fan bases are looking at this game like it can go any way. I know Alabama's favored by 2.5, and I feel like that might increase or decrease over time.
I'm surprised. Are you surprised by that?
Slightly, yeah. I honestly, I thought Tennessee would be favored.
I thought they would and should. Yeah.
After the way we played the past 2 weeks, I thought they would be favored. I don't know. What is your opinion right now? What is your outlook? What are you thinking right now as far as the Knoxville game?
I mean, I'm not as scared as their offense as I once was. You know, our defense gets a lot of knocks, but our offense is not helping them out lately.
Yeah.
And there's like, we either seem to, our offense and defense seem to be in tune. Our defense seems to be either a 3-and-out team or an 8-yard, an 8-minute drive and give up fourth down plays. You know what I mean? So there's not any, any really in between. So, but their offense doesn't scare me like it once did at the beginning of the year. But are we scaring anybody? How are we going to play on the road? How are we going to play in that environment? I think it's going to come down to a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. So, it just depends. I think we react better maybe on the road. I don't know, though. We didn't at Vanderbilt.
I don't know. I kind of feel the same way. It just for us, it's just like, what type of product are we going to put on the field Saturday? If this is the first 4 weeks, Bama, then I'm excited about this game, and I'm still going to be nervous, obviously, but I'm really, really confident. But if it's the past 2 weeks, Bama, I mean, it could get ugly quick, and we know what type of offense Tennessee is going to want to play, even though we haven't really. Even though that offense has kind of been obsolete the past couple of weeks. Keep in mind, they did win against Florida, but they just kind of squeaked that one out. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm nervous about the game. I'm looking forward to it because I feel like after the past 2 weeks, and hopefully we've been practicing hard. Hopefully we've kind of worked on our errors. And hopefully we can change things and make the right additions and put some pressure on Nico and win this game. Of course I'm going to pick us to win, and we'll talk about that during our college picks in another show. But we've also found out today that Tennessee's lead, and I texted you this earlier, their leading linebacker, leading tackler is out. I think he had a torn ACL. Randy, I want to say he had a torn ACL, so he's out for the game. He's their leading tackler. Of course, for Tennessee, that's just going to be next man up. So I figured they'll figure that position out. But offensively, it's just like I just want to see a good mix of run and pass. I think Milroe's threat is obviously still his legs, and I think he needs to use that. And I think the key for Alabama is just kind of getting out to a nice early lead. I don't want this game to end in a shootout. I don't want to do that because I feel like we might make a couple mistakes right here and then lose the game. So I feel like we need to jump out to an early lead.
Agreed. And withstand their first punches. So
yeah. So I don't know. Looking forward to the game though. Shush.
Going through the comments real quick.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening to you.
Yeah. I think they asked Coach. I didn't read the whole presser about this, but somebody mentioned to him the fact that obviously the winner gets a cigar. So he's just like, I think his question was kind of like, yeah, I get it, and we'll make sure that happens. But it is what it is. I'm pretty sure he was already aware of that. So I don't know. I think that was it as far as the Alabama South Carolina game. Did you have any other thoughts? Any other comments? Anything that you liked? Anything you disliked?
So the very end of the game was interesting, right? Jared Bernard catches a touchdown pass, right? If he just goes out of bounds at the one, like we win the game, we come back out, we kneel, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, I turned to Mike and said I would have scored. Like, I don't get why you don't. You put your team up 8 and the other team has to drive the length of the field. You feel pretty good about that. So I understand the situation. We always talk about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, I'm not like smart enough or savvy enough to ever say that. So I can't do that. But then they moved down the field way too quickly.
They do.
And we're inside the stadium, Raj, and they rule that pass out of bounds. And we look up at the scoreboard and we see one replay. We all go, oh, and it's like, yeah, we know this is about to be tied. And then I didn't watch the 2-point conversion. I had my head down and I was holding on to Mike, and I was just like, just let me tell me what the crowd says.
Yeah, that was hard to watch because once they got the touchdown pass, even before they showed the review, I was like, yeah, he was in. I think he was in. It's a touchdown. I couldn't believe we gave it up.
Yeah. From our vantage point, Raj, we can't see that without from where we are. We can't really see his feet because it's on the other side. For where we are.
Gotcha. I got you. When I saw it on TV live, though, I was like, yeah, he's in. Everybody was like, no, he's out. I was like, I wish he was out, but I think he was in. And even before that, I mean, the onside kick, all that is just like that roller coaster of emotions that we were experiencing was just like, we got the game right here. Let's just end it. But it just wouldn't end. And then obviously it came down to their 2-point conversion. I was like, and honestly, before they threw the ball, I was like, they're going to get the 2-point watch and we're going to have to go to overtime or something.
That's what
Dude was wide open. That South Carolina wide receiver was wide open. We seen the replay. It was just thrown a little too high. Not even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't have caught that pass. Okay, it was a little too high. Luckily, we got lucky. We won the game. And again, to my point earlier, I mean, we showed that we do have some resiliency, and we're not going to lay down. But going into this Tennessee game, we need to we don't need to be this close to it at all. So we just need to come out and knock them in the mouth. Yeah, it did.
I got a text.
Go ahead, Herb.
No, sorry, Ron, because I'm just sitting in the stadium. I get a text from Brian, our Oklahoma friend. Good win. I said, I don't think so yet. I just had a feeling. Had a feeling, and the first onside kick, it looked like we were primed to recover it, but we called a timeout. And I was like, I just got a bad feeling. And I mean, you put your hands team on the field and it bounces like through three people. And I'm just like, of course. Why not? This should be the way it goes. So
yeah, exactly. And one point that I don't think I've made this yet, but this just goes out to, I guess, all fan bases nowadays. One thing we all need to get used to is that when you start to enter into conference play, style points, the spread, and all that stuff goes out the window. You're just looking to survive and move on to the next week. It doesn't matter we can win each game in the next 6-7 weeks by 1 point. I don't care. A win is a win. I mean, obviously I would love to blow some people out, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But to my point is just saying, like, we saw the Oregon-Ohio State game, which we'll get into in a minute. That was a close game, which we expected. We might not beat everybody down. It might not happen, but you're just looking to win and survive to the next week. And I think that's just what everybody's trying to do right now. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to make the 12-team playoff. But obviously, once you lose the game, that window and that margin of error gets smaller and smaller. So, I don't know. Hopefully, Bama Nation understands that. I know it's going to take some time for some people to accept that, but it is what it is. Sorry about that. Other big games this past Saturday. Before I get into that, Randy, even Randy's commenting on the Georgia people. Yeah, some people just don't get it, but it is what it is. Other big games Saturday, as opposed to we'll talk about the biggest game this past Saturday, but the Red River rivalry was on, of course. I missed the majority of that game.
Was it on?
It was. It's funny that let me give you guys a backstory. We did our college predictions last week as we do every week. And I'll admit, Herb and I can admit, we both picked Oklahoma to win the game. I told Herb Oklahoma's won the 5 of the past 6.
I was like, shock the world.
But that was shocking to me, but obviously that had nothing to do with this year. Oklahoma was really beat up on both sides of the ball. Quinn Ewers came back. I didn't know it. He looked a little rusty at the beginning, but obviously they got things together. Texas won 34-3. Did you have anything about that game that kind of stood out to you? I mean, obviously it was 34-3. It wasn't close. So
yeah, I was driving home during that game, and my speed did not increase as I saw the scores come across. So I was like fighting traffic, and then all of a sudden I see a score. I see the next thing, and I'm like this. All right, I guess I'll get home. That
was one game. As I was following the score, I was just like, okay, I'm not missing anything here. This isn't much. We're good. 34-3. So with that type of score, I guess Texas right now, obviously they're number one, and they kind of put a stamp on that. Obviously they have a huge one coming this Saturday as they host Georgia in Austin. So everybody's looking forward to that game. Looking forward to it. To Cat's point, we're 1-0. Hopefully be 2-0 at the end of this week. The Vandy game is in the past, way in the past. That happened like 10 years ago.
What Vandy game? I didn't even remember us playing Vandy.
Besides Ohio State, Oregon, what else? What other games kind of caught your eye? Were there any other games out there that kind of caught your attention?
I did stay up for Colorado. Maybe not the best played game at times. Okay. But then it's like they took the third quarter and half of the fourth off, and then it was like, all right, all defenses disappeared, and they decided to score some points toward the end. So it was fun in that regard. Yeah. But I want to. What else did I watch at 6:30? I'm trying to remember if there's Ole Miss LSU. I forgot about that game.
Can we forget about that one? Yep. Yeah. That was another one where I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Pete Golding effect kind of came into play late in the game.
Why are you taking shots at that poor man, Rob?
I'm sorry. It is what it is. Well, I'm not sorry. It is.
You're not sorry. Yeah.
You guys got our leftovers. Ole Miss could have won that game. That pass at the end by Nussmeier, whatever. I'm sorry. That was a heck of a pass. I'll give it to him. That was probably one
Right.
of the best passes he's ever thrown in his life. Good. That was a heck of a pass there. Brian. Good evening, Brian. Sorry about the loss this past weekend, but I think Brian even, he gave us his predictions on the game, so I don't think he's too surprised. Maybe the score, but it is what it is. You still got a good program. They're doing good. All right, so we're good there. Tennessee, Florida. I think that's one we mentioned earlier. We didn't really go into depths in it. I didn't watch all of that game. I was surprised to see Tennessee not scoring like they used to. I think this is like a 3-game streak where they just basically ever since they started conference play, their offense just hasn't been the same.
Yep.
What do you think the reason for that is? I don't know if it's play call. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like, once they got an SEC play, things have just gone spiraling down as far as the offense is concerned.
So something that'll get you labeled a hater is to say that Nico has not been great against great competition. And I think even his stats in the NC State game when they blew him out, if you actually go look at his stats, they're not great. Because it was like 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yep.
So I don't feel like he's been playing great. The better the defense is, the better competition, the more physical, they've actually just slowed them down. I think the line has been as good as they want either. And I just think they took advantage of some terrible teams early in the season to look back. Now, look, could they tell look at what you see what the line is? Are they totally justified? They take advantage of our defense? Clearly, obviously, But I just don't think it has been the juggernaut that everybody thinks it has been.
Yep, so. I agree. And this point kind of goes back to, it's funny that Randy says this because we were in that WhatsApp group chat, and I was telling people in the group chat, I was like, listen, I think Tennessee is going to run the ball a lot this Saturday. If they've been watching any film, that's probably going to be their keys to victory. But knowing Heupel, I kind of feel like Heupel's going to be like, dude, let's just try to attack that secondary. Yeah. We can benefit off that if we can attack Nico. That's our problem. We saw us blitz like 3 times within the last couple of seconds of the South Carolina game, and it worked. I would like to see us blitz a little more throughout the game and put some pressure on Nico, and I think we can kind of get some good stops. Agreed. So, but to Randy's point, I do think if they run the ball, and they got a good running back, they got a good running game, if they do that, that'll definitely help them win the game. But we'll see what Heupel and Nico want to do. Nico looks a lot more like Milton than Hooker. Yeah, we remember the Hendon Hooker game, unfortunately.
No, but he's saying more Milton. Like, I guess Milton had no touch, so it was like super arm, but not hitting the 5 or 10. I didn't fear Milton. I know they jumped out on us that game and we had to come back, but I don't fear Milton. And if he's seeing similarities, I don't fear Nico. And I said this at the beginning of the year. I didn't think Tennessee was ready for Georgia. I think they play later, right? So I don't think that they're ready to be like a top team like some predicted. I remember I think CBS Sports had them at 10-2, but like 5 SEC teams at 10-2, and Tennessee going to the SEC championship.
Tennessee is going to lose. They're going to lose probably 3 or 4 games this year. So they're not going to be in the playoff, and I don't think Ole Miss will be in the playoff either. So.
Yeah. You want to take a quick? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. We're gonna take a quick break. Speaking of the Tennessee-Alabama game, we can't just not talk about the game without bringing up one of Mike's fun facts about the game.
What's up, everybody? It's Big Mike back again with another edition of Bama Opponents Fun Fact. This week, opponent, the University of Tennessee Volunteers. College football fans love a tailgate party. And the fans at Tennessee take these parties to a whole new level with their Vol Navy. With Neyland Stadium being one of the few stadiums accessible by boat, former Vol announcer George Mooney had a brilliant idea in 1962 on how to beat traffic to the game by taking his boat to the stadium. And what started out as one man's plan to beat traffic turned into such a tradition that over the next 20 years, almost 700 feet of dock space was built to accommodate the number of boats. Today, close to 350 boats full of fans are ready to cheer on their team every Saturday. And that's this week's Bama Opponent Fun Fact. Roll Tide, everybody.
So do people come to the show for us or for the fun fact? Be honest.
You know what? I feel like it's 60% us, 40% the fun fact. It's grown over the week. And we appreciate Big Mike for doing that. Awesome fun fact as always. Again, in the comments, let us know what you thought about the fact. We enjoy it. Again, to the game, Mike's saying, what defense what defense is Bama going to put on the field, to be honest? And there goes to my point earlier. I just don't know what type of product we're going to put on the field. I don't know. I don't know. If we put on the first 4 weeks Bama defense, then we're in good hands. We're in definitely good hands, but we'll see. Yep. And I mentioned the blitz, the last 3 blitzes we ran in the South Carolina game, and I agree, Mike. It just doesn't seem like we've done it much the past few games. I don't think it would hurt to sprinkle it in there throughout the game, see some blitzes throughout the game, and put some more pressure on Nico. I think that's definitely one of the keys to victory. So, Lady Alpha, we appreciate you as always. Yeah, have a good night. We appreciate you. Oh, Brian answered your question. He's here 90%. Although Brian does appreciate the fun fact. Thank you, Brian, for clearing that.
Yes. Brian's here for 90. Everyone else is 60 though.
I have never been to Knoxville for a game.
Once in my life.
Herb has, yeah. So we definitely need to put that on the list. Herb and I actually made a list of a lot of stuff we want to do. Especially once we get the ball rolling here, and with other things, we will definitely do that. You writing that down on the list right now? Yeah.
No, I waffled on 2 different questions for you, so now I've got a different one for you. So now we're gonna have 3 questions at the end, 2 different top 5s. Gotcha. Mine was, and I can't remember, our starting quarterback was hurt, and we had to play a backup, and we lost that game. But we sat by some older fans, and I always say that because they were like nice and respectful, and they shook our hands after the game, and whatever. Because we were actually we'd gone up there for a broadcast. No, this was. I think you might have been in Montgomery at the time. We went up there because we were doing like a little school broadcast, and we did one before the game from there. And then me and one of the other guys like, hey, we're going to go to the game. And the other 2 was like, you guys are crazy. And I went and bought an Alabama shirt before the game and went and sat in the Tennessee section with my friend who was like, I'm not wearing an Alabama shirt. But we sat around people who were like, they were cool. They cheered, we cheered, they shook our hands after the game and go. So that was it.
Yeah. I feel like if you go to the game, I'll get to Brian in a second. I feel like if you go to the game, regardless of what team you're cheering for, you got to wear your team's colors, and you just got to deal with whatever comes your way. You got to. You got to rep your team. I'm glad Brian brought this up right quick. Speaking of fantasy, so Brian,
I got to go to the bathroom real quick. So can you carry this segment real quick?
You're going to hold it. Let me just. Brian, thank you for bringing this up. For those that don't know, Brian's in our fantasy football league. He's actually the leader. He's in first place right now. I was 0-5. I was 0-5 coming in. And
about to quit the whole league and fantasy football forever.
I played Herb. I was against Herb. He was my opponent this past weekend. I got my first victory. Yesterday. Proud of it. Very, very happy. Good times. I said I'm gonna be humble though. I wasn't going to mention.
This is your idea of humble. This is crazy.
I was not going to mention it if Brian didn't bring it up, but I have to bring it up now. But let me go back to being humble. Herb, you were a good opponent. I think you'll make it to the playoffs. You're going to do better than me in the league. What's my gut say?
We're quitting our whole team now. I fired everyone.
And I play Big Mike this week coming up. So hopefully I can get another win, but we'll definitely see what's going to happen. Obviously there were some wide receiver changes that's going to affect some things in our league, but we'll get to that. Oh, Brian, no problem. If I have to play him again, I'll do it again. No problem at all.
Wow.
All right, one more game that happened this past Saturday that obviously we haven't talked about, and I'm going to need you to kind of give your input on this one because I was at a wedding while this game was going on.
Congratulations on getting married.
Yeah, right. So I saw a little bit of the third quarter on my phone, and then when we got back, it was like 6 minutes left in the fourth. So I missed the majority of this game, but I saw the ending and a little bit of the third quarter. So, I mean, obviously, based on the score, it was a good game. It lived up to the hype. I think both, and I looked at the stats, both team offenses and defenses played well. What were your overall thoughts of the game? Comments, concerns? What did you think about the Ohio State-Oregon game?
It was like there were times when I thought Ohio State was like clearly better and Oregon was just hanging on. And then it just seemed like I don't know, Oregon just made more plays, down the stretch. Okay. Dylan Gabriel played much better than I think he's played most of the year. I didn't realize he had those kind of wheels on him either, scrambling wise. Yeah. So I don't know. Jeremiah Smith still had a really good game. It's just like when I think about the game, I just think about a lot of plays that Ohio State made And it's like I can't think of very much from Oregon. And then you look at the score, and I'm like, Oregon won that game. You know, so I definitely think those two are the class of the Big Ten, and I think they rematch again.
Oh yeah,
in a title game. But
yeah,
that's just a big win for Oregon. And can we don't spin on players, please?
Yeah, Trayshawn Holden did that. Was it? I forgot what quarter it was. He spit on. I forgot the gentleman.
That was like the first. It was pretty early on in the game.
Listen, man, you're playing football. People are going to talk trash. It's going to happen. Don't spit on, especially in that. Not even just that game, but just in general. Why are you spitting on somebody else just because they're talking trash?
I don't get it. Because if that happened to him, he'd be going crazy.
Exactly. And had this been back in the day, somebody's gonna throw some bowls at you.
The helmet coming off.
Clock. Helmet coming off. Damn. I don't care about getting fined or not fined, but thrown out the game. But that was stupid of him. Obviously Oregon won without him, but they're just foolish. I wonder, does he also get suspended a game for that, or is it just thrown out that game? I mean, obviously the team could discipline him any way they want to.
Yeah, I think they could discipline him. There's probably going to look and see who they're playing next and then decide if there's going to be discipline or not.
Yeah. To Randy's point, you could look at the numbers. I think Gabriel had 341 passing yards. I think. Look, threw some good ball too. He's a really, really good quarterback, and I think to Herb's point, we hadn't seen Oregon play this well all year, which is why we both picked Ohio State. I picked Ohio State by 10. Obviously, that was a little lofty, and I was wrong there. But Oregon showed up. They showed out. Defense looked good. Good for Dan Lanning. We do have one question regarding this game, though. Obviously, during the last few seconds of the game, Oregon had 12 people on the field.
That's what
they got flagged for it.
There.
Yeah, they got flagged for it, obviously. And I thought it was a mistake on their behalf when they did it. But obviously, over the next few days, comes out that Dan Lanning said basically they did that intentionally. I felt like it was a smart play if they did it intentionally. Apparently, the NCAA is looking into this. I don't. My question is, what are they looking into? Wasn't this legal? Like, did he
legal?
I'm
but
confused.
the time wasting part of it, I guess. Yeah, just the time wasting part of it, I think. But I mean, they did this years ago with Wisconsin and the way I think were doing on their kickoffs or something, wasting time. So it's like every time they find a loophole and somebody does it one time, like it's just you're just not going to do it. I don't think that often. I think enough for people to worry about it. So yeah. And Randy, I'm with you, man. If you spit on somebody, you get ejected for something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
wouldn't let you play the next game.
Yeah, for clarification, if you get ejected for targeting, whatever, obviously the rules are in place for that. But if you spit on somebody, if I'm the coach, I'm like, you're gonna have to sit. You're gonna have to sit the next half of the next game. You got to really control yourself. That's just ridiculous. That's embarrassing too.
That's an excellent point, though, Raj. So targeting, sometimes, the guy's strictly headhunting. You get it. That's a terrible target, right? Yeah. Sometimes it's a letter of the law target. Because wasn't in a Florida game where a guy jumped up in the air and the guy got called for targeting by tackling his legs or something while he was in the air?
Yeah.
And that guy gets ejected and misses part of the next game or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I spit on a player, which is clearly, that is a malicious act. That is, you don't accidentally do it. And I'm thrown out of that game, but I get to come back for the next one. So no, I'd rather see something else happen to him. So yeah, I agree. It's a personal foul ejection, and he should be out for the next game. So I don't know. Yeah, Mike, I'm surprised it doesn't. On a pre-snap penalty, I'm surprised the clock doesn't go back. But it seems like a way to just waste time for real.
I agree.
So you got where are we at as far as so that's pretty I want to show you one quick thing before we get out of this. And I hope nobody's embarrassed.
Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Close up illuminate the word that you cannot find. Reach it. There's something in that distance. So close you can almost taste it. To release your inhibition. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. No one else can let it in. No one else can see the words on your list. Some words unspoken. Know your life records unbroken. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten.
And I just want everybody to know, Mike tried to fight me off. And then finally, he just had to give in and start
Okay.
singing.
I have a lot of concerns here. First of all, Herb knows the full. What's the name of the song again? Obviously, it's popular.
Unwritten.
Unwritten. What TV show was that? That was on a TV show too, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, you hear that a lot of times, but no, I just know the song. And me and Breezy, so yeah, well, it's become me and my niece, who Raj calls Breezy. It's become our song. So anytime we're going home, that song is going to get played. So
the
sorry,
other thing
Mike.
that's funny is that Mike didn't want you filming him because Mike, I feel like deep down inside, that's one of Mike's songs too, because Mike knew the words to it. He was like, yes.
Yeah.
It was on a Netflix.
Oh,
I feel like it was on a TV show too.
Yeah, Raj, he was. You see, Mike? No. So he was fighting me off at first, and then he was just like, "All right, Herb's not giving up." And that was the second one. We were singing "Friends in Low Places" earlier, so I still have that video. I'm holding in my pocket, but that was my favorite.
We're not gonna see that video now.
No, I don't know if I can get it loaded up in time. So I totally forgot about that.
Don't worry about it.
But no, it was a fun time. And then the guy next to Mike says something like, "I've never even heard of that song."
I feel like everybody's heard that song. I said, I
don't know what it is.
Until you told me, but oh boy, yeah.
No, I got you. So hold on. There's we did mention this. We haven't talked as much about the Georgia Texas game because this Thursday night, kind of like we did with Alabama Georgia, we're doing a Georgia Texas breakdown. 9 o'clock. Randy's going to join us. We've been kind of looking at a couple different Texas people, but honestly, we waited last minute, so that might not be easy to find. Plus, I mean, not everybody's as great as Randy, so it's hard to find somebody to match his energy. But either way, we will be breaking down that game, giving official picks. Randy will probably give his pick on that show. Raj and I'll give our picks on our own college football show, hosted by Big Mike. That's definitely one of the games. And I hate that the Lady Alpha isn't here because we didn't get to mention that we did finally get in an Ohio State and Oregon pick for her, or Ohio State pick, and we actually did pick. I think we picked Ohio State, and then they let us down at the end. But at least we both picked them. So
we both picked Ohio State. Yeah, but again, to your point earlier, that they'll see a rematch in that game in the Big Ten championship. I don't see any other team in the Big Ten. Like I get Penn State's ranked high, they're ranked at number 4, but I think they're going to lose. I want to say Penn State hosts Ohio State, but I still have Ohio State winning that game.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm not sure either one of them loses enough. Like, there's not a team that I would pick in the Big Ten to beat either one of them.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
That's why.
I agree.
All right, Raj.
Yep.
Just to fill time, because I'm gonna go and find that video for you real quick.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I'll give you a couple comments, and I've got something. So I'll be there. So no, Randy, we appreciate what you do, man. And
Oh yeah.
I know right now you're looking at the stuff where people are expecting Texas, to run all over them. I just don't think so. I think Georgia travels well. Yeah. I don't think they get caught like they do in the first half of the Alabama game.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be honest. So
I think it's going to be a really close game. And we saw your comment earlier about the game, but like I said, we'll break it down on Thursday a little more. But I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I'm glad it's coming on at 6:30. It's not the same time as the Alabama game because I really want to watch this Texas Alabama game or Texas Georgia game. Obviously, we played Georgia, but there's a chance we could see them down again in the road. There's also a chance we might play Texas, depending on how things pan out. So, looking forward to it.
You mentioned this in the group chat, Raj. Who are you rooting for in this game?
Hold on. Before I answer that, the Hills, and I'll admit it. I used to watch the Hills a lot. That's where I remember this song from.
When you say a lot, do you mean like this past weekend?
No, I didn't watch it this past weekend, but I remember it. I remember that show, the Hills. Gosh, who was that? Was Kristen Cavallari on? Okay, I'm not gonna say anything else. Anyway, I remember that show.
Wow,
she was on that show, and I used to watch Laguna Beach. I ain't gonna lie, I watched that show.
Too much.
Your question? What? Now, was your question? I'm sorry about that.
Who are you rooting for in this game? Or do you want to wait until Thursday night to give that?
I'm glad you brought that up. Again, in one of our Herb and I's group chats. Big Mike, I want to hear your comments on this too. So I was talking to some other Bama fans.
And to clarify, this is who are you rooting for as a Bama fan, not as anything else.
Yes, as a Bama fan, anybody can comment in the chat. Who are you rooting for in the Texas-Georgia game? The reason I asked that question was because if Georgia loses, that'll be the second loss of the season. I don't see them losing again. So if we lose again, going into the playoffs, both Alabama and Georgia have 2 losses. And somebody said, obviously, we would get selected ahead of them because of the head-to-head. But I don't know the playoff committee. I don't know how they're going to work because they might look at that Vanderbilt loss and say, that's huge. Now, if Vanderbilt wins the rest of their games, that'll help us out a little bit. And obviously, if Texas wins or Texas loses, they have 1 loss. Of course, they still have to play at A&M later on in the season. That could go Texas A&M's way. So I don't know how that would help anybody else out, but it was just an interesting question. I'm just looking forward to the game overall. I hope it's a good game. So I don't know who everybody else went. Herb, what were your thoughts of that? Do you still undecided, 50-50?
I'm rooting for Georgia, and I don't care. I just want Texas taken down. And if that hurts us in the long run, then that's our fault for losing to Vandy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
I'm just rooting for Georgia in the game. Honestly, that's probably is. So I definitely don't want to play Georgia again.
I told her that after the game. I said, I hope we don't have to play them again. Because we knew of the scenarios of possibly playing them in the SEC championship in the playoff. I don't want to play Georgia again. They know us. They watched film. Kirby's going to be more prepared than he was the first game. I do not want to play them again.
Good.
Yeah.
Round and the beer tastes like and I'll be okay. I got way on social crazy. They can send on down to the oasis. Oh, I got friends in low places.
I'm going to another game just for the karaoke part.
Yes, and there was no herky jerky there. You knew every word on point and everything. You were on rhythm. Now, when you tried to hit that high note, that kind of killed things there. But,
yeah, not that good at that. So not enough water was drunk to. Oh, so this is something I did forget to mention at the game. There was not enough water drunk before this to help me out with that. B, I successfully did a wardrobe change. At the game.
Where?
I had in the middle of the stands.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 1000%. I had sweats on because it was cold when we first started. So I had sweatpants on and a shirt.
Okay.
And by the end of it, the shirt and Mike, you should see Mike's face when I started to take the pants off. Mike was like this. Like
I would be too. I'm like, Herb. This is not the place. Yeah.
See, in the middle of the freaking crowd. Yep. Yeah. So, Mike said he picked Texas. So I did that. And then by the fourth quarter, the shirt came off and I had a tank top on underneath. And so successfully pulled off the change. I think Randy would appreciate that because he was the one that asked me before, how are you going to do that at the stadium?
Yeah.
So
I did too.
When it's hot enough, you can. Yeah. Well, I mean, Randy's a little more important, but that's fine. It's fine. You do both have the same R beginning of your name. That's
true.
Sorry.
That's true.
All right. You want to get to a couple top fives?
Let's do it.
Well, let's get. Where is your stuff at? Oh, it's under banners. Rod is top 5. First, in particular order.
Okay.
Your current college football top 5.
I'm going to go with Texas number 1. I don't think, even though Oregon has the biggest win right now, I don't think Texas has done anything to lose the number 1 spot. So they're number 1. Obviously, Oregon's number 2, playing lights out. Had the big win over Ohio State. That was huge. Do I want to put Miami at? No. I'm going to go with Penn State. I thought.
Wait. Are you saying who's number 2?
No, I already said number 2.
Is Oregon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No. Penn State. That was my fault.
I really thought Penn State was going to lose to USC. I thought they were going to lose, but they came back.
Raj.
What?
We cannot have a top 5 with Penn State at number 3.
I can. It's my top 5. They haven't lost, so they haven't done anything to kind of lose a spot. And again, I'm going off a little bit of record. Now, if you want me to just say who I think the best top 5 teams
no, I mean, you're doing it right, but I have to say that because of how I feel about Penn State.
Oh, yeah. Now, will they lose a game later on? Yes. Then it'll be a different top 5. Penn State's not going to go undefeated. I know that. And they're not going to win the Big Ten. After that, I'm going to go with Miami, and then Golly. I mean, I like us at 5, but I don't like what I've seen the past few weeks.
Right.
So I'm going to go Ohio State right now. Ohio State, then Georgia, then Bama right now.
Okay.
Again, this will change next week, obviously.
Yep.
Oh,
These two
Popcorn
guys-
Joe's in the building. What's going on, Joe? We appreciate you for joining in, man.
What up?
Yeah, so that'll round out my top 5.
Yeah. Let me tell you how much I love those guys. I have a show that I am on at 6 o'clock on Thursday, 6 p.m. Central.
Yep.
And the power hour is on 6 p.m. Central as well.
Okay.
Joe and Randy. Every time I start my show by going over to their show and saying what's up to them. Somewhere in the middle of my show, Mr. U show, you'll see me like doing this. You probably think I'm looking up scores. No, I've clicked over to their show, and in the middle of it randomly, I say, hey, what's up, guys? I love y'all, whatever, in the middle of their show. That's how much and how highly I think of those two guys. So that is a great show. Of course, I want you to watch us, but if you're not watching us, that's definitely a show. Do you remember when Austin Powers had that ad campaign when they were up against Star Wars?
Yes, that was.
They said if you're gonna watch one movie this year,
yeah,
go watch Star Wars. We
Star
get
Wars,
it.
yeah.
But if you're gonna watch another one, go watch us. That's sometimes what I feel like when I'm up against Randy and Joe. So, all right, this your second top 5.
Okay.
Top 5 stadiums.
Why do you wipe your hands like that? What is that doing?
It's my evil genius.
Okay. There
So
you go.
top 5. Top 5 stadiums you want to visit.
This is a good one.
I know. That's why I said it.
I would say I've already been to Austin. Death Valley. I definitely want to go to Death Valley.
If it was Death Valley at 11 o'clock, would you go or would you wait for a night game?
Night game. It's got to be a night game. Yeah, got to be a
Would
night
you
game.
go at 11 a.m.?
What now?
Would you go any game at 11 a.m.?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want to, but I'd do it. So
When we were at Austin at 11 a.m., they sat us next to the sun. That was one of the least pleasant
Oh, wow.
experiences of my life.
Okay, so Death Valley. Obviously, we talked about Knoxville earlier. I wouldn't mind going to that stadium. Michigan and Ann Arbor. Wouldn't mind going to that stadium. Wouldn't mind going to the Ohio State game in the Horseshoe. And maybe USC. I think that would be a cool stadium to go to. A good venue out there. So yeah.
All right. Rogers top 5.
I purposely didn't say Athens. I didn't want to give them. I didn't want to say it because Randy and Joe were listening.
Randy said it, or Joe said, are you doing the sprinkler? Oh, you know what though? Randy,
Yeah,
Joe, and Mike are all here. So that leads into a really good question.
oh gosh. Go
Work,
ahead.
play, live, ditch.
Okay.
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 You got Mr. Randy.
All right.
Okay. Joe.
Okay.
Okay. Mike.
Okay.
And Herb.
The ditch is always easy. It's been 43 years, man. I love you. I love you, Herb.
I've been ditched 3 times by you already.
4 now. All right, you know what? I'll change it up. For that, I'll change it up.
No. I'll take the ditch. I'll take it.
No. I'm gonna change it up. For that point, I'm gonna change it up. I'll start off with differently. I'm gonna hang out with Joe. I saw Joe wear the popcorn outfit on the last 9 p.m. Power Hour thing we did. I'm hanging out with Joe.
Okay.
And
Okay.
If Joe wears his popcorn outfit, I'm gonna wear an outfit just to match his energy. I'm hanging out with Joe.
What are you gonna be, a big stick of butter?
Hey, Joe, you heard it there. I'm hanging out with Joe. Mike is gonna be my neighbor. Yeah, Mike's gonna be my neighbor. We're gonna watch football. We got the Dolphins in common and LeBron. We got all we're hanging out pretty much every day, every weekend, all the time. I met Randy, talked to Randy, and Randy, I'm only gonna do this to you because I don't want to hurt Herb's feelings. I'm gonna ditch Randy.
Hold on. I can't let you do that. Do the honest thing that you wanted to do.
Me and Randy were cool. We met in person. We talked. And I'm going to hang out with Herb because I don't want to hurt his little old feelings. But Randy, I still got love for you.
This is the worst. Why'd I get the feeling like we're going to be hanging out? You're just going to be texting Randy the whole time. Hey, man, wish you were here. Hey, man,
I might.
I hate this.
I just might.
Yeah. So
Yes, a pity pick. That's what it is.
What's up, Title?
Title, we appreciate you for joining in, man. Thank you so much.
Yep. Dropped off of the Title. Actually, I forgot my Title towel, and he peeped me on a couple places to get one at the game.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
So now I have an abundance. I need to give another one away at some point. So we need to do a giveaway maybe after the Tennessee. Yeah, Kat, it's a pity pick. I'm not excited about this hangout. So we all know what his actual answer was. So.
Yeah.
And you know what, Randy, I'm gonna call you on that one day. I'm going to a game. I might go to a game that's not involving Alabama, but I might try to get to the Alabama game. Yep. Randy, if you happen to come across an extra ticket and you're going to the game, I'll be your +1 for that one.
Gotcha.
So. Yeah, dude, it's just one of my favorite shows. 1,000% honest.
Good quality show.
Good
talking. Yeah, I like everything about the show. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I even like Joe picking against us every week. That's just become a thing that makes me smile.
I love it.
So, I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, Joe, we can't give you a Title towel, but yes, people who would actually not like wipe their butts with them. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. You beat me to the point. Yeah, he'd probably use it to wipe his butt or something like that. So, but yeah, Joe, again, man, whenever we all hang out, you wear your popcorn outfit. I'll wear some outfit. We'll go out to the bar or something, man. We'll paint the town red.
Oh, I forgot you're going out with Joe. So you're working with me. You're not hanging out with me.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're going out with Joe in his popcorn outfit.
With Joe.
So we're just working together. So my choices are working with you or getting ditched. I'll just be ditched. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll ditch you. I don't mind ditching you. You'll survive that.
Yes.
So anyway, looks like we're coming to the end here. Again, Herb and I are definitely looking forward to this Saturday's game. I feel like this game is going to be one of those make it or break it type games. If we lose, that puts us in a really, really bad hole we don't want to be in. We have several big games coming up after this weekend.
And Randy had asked that earlier. I totally missed that one, but that was one of his comments. Is this a elimination game?
Yes,
definitely.
I think it is. Obviously, if we lose, we'll have our second loss. This will be Tennessee's second loss. And then there's a good chance Alabama may lose again. And I think Tennessee still has to play Georgia, so they're going to lose again. So, yeah, this is like an elimination game.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're looking forward to it. Again, Thursday night, we have the big preview for the Georgia-Texas game with Randy, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and join us. Herb, you got any final comments? Anything else you want to say?
Ready for the game. So we will have plenty of stuff going on. We'll probably do a live stream after the game for sure. We might do a quick preview before. Raj has picked my bourbon.
Yep.
We'll reveal that on Saturday. We didn't pick a bourbon for the Vandy game, and look what happened. And
I know.
Didn't pick a bourbon for the South Carolina game.
I did pick one for the South Carolina game. We won.
Did you?
Yes.
No, you did pick one for the South Carolina because I went to it.
But I thought what was the game I picked it for then? Oh, was
Georgia.
That? Oh, it was Georgia. You're right. Okay,
yeah.
We won that game.
So the only game you picked it was for Georgia. So
okay, well I picked it for this Saturday's Tennessee game, so we should win. So we're good there. They low down, they dirty, there's some snitches. Yep, all of them.
Yep.
All right.
Get your back in there. Yep. North Carolina rules. Yep. I'm going to a game, Randy. So it's up to you. Are you going to be a good host and take me to the sites or whatever? So. We'll end on Cats. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. All right. For the Herb and Raj podcast, we appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. And as always, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.